Yeah, so I'm Vincent Fink here, and I'm streaming, and I'm an artist, and it'd be cool if people on Rumble supported the arts, so I thought I would give that a shot. Here's something I'm working on right now. Pretty nuts. Why is that? Oh, there we go. Why is it no matter how... It feels weird trying to get this thing looking in the camera. But anyways, that's what I'm working on. Kind of cool, huh? Why does it feel like it's... I gotta like turn things the wrong way to get them... It just feels off. But anyways. Yeah, that's going down. It's hard being an artist, man. Especially if you're not part of the woke agenda. You know, if you don't go along with it. Basically, if you are a free-thinking artist, you are fucked. And it's been 12 years of me fighting this. Well, you know, I didn't really realize that I was not part of the gang up until about 2016. What happened then? What the fuck? What in the fuck is this thing doing? This is the weirdest fucking view I've ever seen. Okay, desk view sucks. Just gonna say. Let's try this. Okay, that's better. You know, like, it'd be really cool if I could create content, you know, if I could talk to you peoples, if we could build up some kind of like, you know, free-thinking artist community type thing, or free-thinking art lovers for those who are not artists. But I would really love for free thinkers who are not part of the woke agenda if we could all kind of just band together and help each other out, because that's what they're doing, and they're crushing it in the art world. I mean, you just would not believe the bias. I mean, you probably, if you've ever been to an art gallery in the last like 5 years or more, you can see how woke it is and how annoying that shit can be if you're like, well, I'm not into this. So we want to change that. I would love to be able to be a part of a movement to rectify the situation in the art world, because there's absolutely no reason why artists should be tricked into believing that communism is the way. But believe you, most of the artists I know, self-proclaimed communists. It's freaking weird. It's disturbing. It's upsetting. It's frustrating because, well, you got to think about it for a second. How much art existed in any communist nation? Let's just go there for a second. How many great artists has you know, communist China? Even right now, I mean, there's some people probably coming out of China, but they don't really, you know, they're not known for that. They're definitely competing now because they've kind of usurped, and they're kind of using the capitalist model to fund their communist dictatorship. But it's it hasn't been very good. Let's just say out of all the communist nations in the last century, I can't think of one that produced a famous artist or any kind of art movement, or it even had any artists. Like, do artists even exist in communist countries? I don't think so, because they don't really, you don't have, okay, so let's look at it like this. Who's art for, right? Who buys art? Rich people, people with extra money. So if you eliminate that from your society, and there's no longer, like, you know, people who can buy things with all their hard-earned money, if they don't have disposable income for that, then it doesn't work, right? So if you were to do that, say, to America and turn us communist, I'm pretty sure very quickly you would see most artists would, well, they'll probably either be thrown in a gulag or just working farms or whatever, or, you know, whatever it is that, what do these communist artists do once they've joined a communist nation? And I've always begged them to go as well. You know, like, I've seen them talk about it like, oh my God, China's light years ahead of the US. And I'm like, okay, so go. Why don't you go to your communist utopia they're still here. I don't understand why they're still here in America. Like, I just really wish all you commies would leave America, go to your communist shitholes or utopias as you see them, and let us get on with the American dream. You know, the American dream was not communism. The American dream was limited government. That was the main idea. So it's just, it's a bit frustrating when that doesn't seem to sink in. That's the reason why everybody comes here. That's why people are coming to America on literal rafts made of trash to get here from Venezuela, okay? The communist nations. So you kind of got a problem if you can't explain that. While I've got you on, I'm going to try really quickly to just do like what I was saying, a little bit of art live stream. This is a wild ass piece, ain't it? Now, if somebody gives me shit about this and says like this is like degenerate art, I'm gonna fucking pimp slap you through the internet, and certainly in person if I ever see your fucking lame ass. Because art is supposed to be more than just, whatever your fucking pastor ordained, okay? Got no problems with your pastor. Got problems with you telling me what I can fucking draw and what I can paint and what's holy or not. Like, dude, I'm exploring my mind. I'm exploring the landscape of my mind, the interior of the human psyche. It's a lot cooler than painting whatever God's creations are. You know why? Because God already did it. All right? And that's kind of boring to just copycat God, I want to do something more. I'm exploring. This is why I love surrealism. And when I say that I'm a surrealist, it's not like, again, we're getting back to this communism discussion versus capitalism. It's like, yes, I know that a lot of the surrealists were commies. They were, they're also, artists tend to be very idealistic. And honestly, if I didn't have the past to reflect on, I would probably be down with communism too. It's a great idea. It sounds good, right? Everybody's covered. Everybody's got equal pay. Shit, right now, I could see how communism is going to really suck a lot of people in because they've fixed the system and they've managed to usurp this wonderful capitalist system of the free market that allows people to voluntarily exchange goods and services and allows the most upward mobility than any other system known to man thus far. And people don't realize when you think idealistically, like, oh, well, maybe the government should just give all that to you, or maybe the government should cover for people. But that's actually what seems to be getting us in this problem. Like, when government steps in and tries to control the market, when government steps in and tries to, for instance, bail banks out, like too big to fail, that's not free market, brother. That ain't fucking free market. Too big to fail does not exist in a free market. Everybody is eligible to fail in the free market. And certainly I believe that there should be some safety nets. I think that's a good idea. And that, okay, so you could say maybe that's kind of a communist idea. But, it's not without reason, okay? Sometimes people need a little pick-me-up, and that's why I think America really did for a while have the greatest system, because we have this perfect mixture of capitalism and a little bit of socialism mixed in there. Just a little bit, just a little safety net for when you go unemployed for a while, or, for people who actually need help or could benefit greatly from it. It's like people sometimes get knocked down. And it's okay to help them. I'm not against that. I think most people are okay with that. But what we're not okay with is like this nanny state who just basically takes care of everybody. That doesn't work. That's not sustainable, right? I mean, like, anytime that's been done, what was the end result? It was people eating their fucking babies, all right? That's what happened in China. in communist China. It's just disgusting what happens to people when you depend on the government to do everything, because the government is too far away to know what is needed for the people. And there's just all this wasted money. If you could just imagine, like, if we stopped wasting money on foreign affairs, regime change wars, like this one going on in fucking Ukraine, and stop sticking our nose in other people's business in Gaza, just let them fucking sort it out. It's like, think of all that money. Yeah, we would very easily be able to we would be able to squash the debt. We could stop all the poverty in this country because we could actually afford to help people and, get back on our feet and allow people to have extra income so they can live decent lives and thrive and prosper and build families and not have to worry about, when the next paycheck is coming in, if it's going to cover the rent and the food and all the other housing costs and costs of living to get their kids through, right? To get their kids to school, whatever. It's just like there's a lot going on right now, man. And I can totally see a collapse coming if we don't fucking fix this. And is Trump the man to do it? Like, definitely him over Biden. Under Trump, things were a lot fucking better. I don't particularly love the guy, but, I don't fucking have to love anybody. And there's no reason why I should have to preface that every time I talk about him either. But I do, just because I don't want people to get this impression that I'm just like this, Trump all the way kind of guy. I'm not. I just, I'm going by the stats, and I'm going by my own life experience and how my quality of life was, and just the politics of it, right? The policy matters. Obviously, that's why we're in this fucking mess right now, because we're under Democrat rule. This is the problem. And so we just need a real Republican, somebody who really stands for America and what it's all about. And it's just really upsetting, and they don't even have to be a Republican, in all honesty. I would vote for a good Democrat, like John F. Kennedy Jr. That was a good guy. I would have voted for him. RFK Jr. Interesting guy. I'd vote for him over Biden. Fuck yeah. I would still vote for Trump or DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy over the best Democrat, probably, though. And especially Vivek. Actually, I'm getting very impressed by this guy. He's definitely turning a corner here and becoming quite a sensation. And much power to him. Super cool. He's got the right rhetoric for sure. I mean, he's kind of like, in a way, in my opinion, like his rhetoric is like kind of trumping Trump at this point. It's a weird thing because, he definitely got it from Trump. He's like, everything he says on that debate stage when he straight up owns Nikki Haley and all this shit, and calling Ron DeSantis and her like the two, what did he call them? Like Dick Cheney and high heels. That's it. Yeah. He said there's Dick Cheney and high heels, and we got two of them up here on this stage. And we all know he was referring to Nikki Haley, but also Ron DeSantis, because Ron DeSantis has been caught wearing push-up heels or whatever you call that shit, where it makes him look taller. And that's kind of sad. You didn't need to do that, brother. But yeah, Vivek's just crushing it, and he's funny, he's entertaining, but he's also super quick and smart. But you know what I like about him even more than Trump is that it's like he's got all of the policy of Trump, but without all like the cringe. You gotta admit, like sometimes Trump is a little cringe, and especially like, yeah, I don't know. So it's the way Trump divides people. I guess that's what I mean when I say cringe, like, because that's what he does. He'll say something so abrasive that it just, irritates the left to the point where they just fucking hate him. And now it's like he can never move past that. And as entertaining and fun and probably necessary that is, honestly, we need more people like that, like just destroying their narratives and making them cringe and making them cry and all that shit. That's great. But as a president, at some point, you know, after the debates, once you win the presidency, I don't know, at some point, it'd be great to be a unifier, right? And that's really what this country needs, is somebody a little more unifying. And I think Vivek actually could do that because he's more tolerable. He's listenable. He doesn't come off as brash, yet he still manages to get the same point across. I guess that's what's interesting to me about him. He's just, he's like all the good qualities of Trump and then like all the good qualities of somebody like a DeSantis wrapped into one guy. And then even more so, because in all honesty, you can hear the way Vivek talks, how fast he is with all his facts and his history. And it's just like, man, dude, he's pretty fucking smart. And to be that young and to be that successful, like obviously dude's pretty fucking smart. I think he's like the same age as I am. I'd say he's a little more successful than me. I'd say he's got something figured out, right? I'm 39, by the way, and I'm about to turn 40 in April 1st. Guess that means I'm a fool because I thought I could change the world. I really did. I kind of thought that I could be a part of some kind of artistic movement where good artists who are not just like completely bound by any political party could kind of, unify a little bit and pull people from both sides and kind of get us all together and be like, hey, look, you know, we may not agree on everything, but we can still have civil debate. We can still appreciate art together, and we can still debate what good art is and what policies should become law, right? So this is the whole thing. You know, you don't want to fucking hate on everybody who's a little different than you. I don't, at least. I'm not down with that kind of fucking movement. I'm trying to unify. I'd much rather unify. I do think there's a lot more we have in common than not in common. And the media does a really great job of convincing everybody that it's time for civil war, right? Like that's what this is all about. It's time. It's time to band together, boys. Get ready to fight. Well, we all know who's going to win that fight anyway. If it's in any kind of fair fight, we know the guys who've been pro-gun are going to win. It's funny to me. It's really weird. I'd love to... It's just one of those like uncomfortable conversations I haven't had yet, like with some of my relatives or friends or whatever who they're leftists, but they love guns. And it's a weird thing. And I'm like, dude, do you not realize your own party, the party that you fucking love and that you think is so great, they are actively trying to take that gun out of your fucking hand, man. Not only that gun, but all your guns. They're trying to get into your fucking, into your gun shed or, you know, your gun cabinet, whatever you fucking got, your gun rack. They're trying to take them all right? They do want them all, and they're going to start with the little things, and, you know, they'll start with one thing here and one thing there, and then eventually, next thing you know, you ain't got shit. And how do they not see that? You know, it's just, this is what I'm saying. This is what makes me think we might be headed towards a collapse, because the Democrats, they just... They don't want to admit defeat. They don't want to admit they were wrong, and that's not healthy. You know, how far can you go if people are willing to die, willing to allow collapse? To, you know, it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face, right? Is that how the saying goes? That's what I see them doing. It's like they would rather just be like live in delusion and pretend like they're right. As the fucking world burns, as our country descends into fucking chaos and civil war, and then they're going to want to blame it on the Republicans the whole time. I just have a hard time believing they really believe themselves. But they must, right? I mean, a lot of these people are, I guess, not educated or sophisticated enough to really figure it out. I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is. I don't know how you can be convinced that you're voting for the right team while you go to the fucking gun show, or you go to the shooting range, and you're like, yeah, this is fun, this is good, this is what it means to be American. But yet you're voting, you're literally voting for that to end. You know? Fucking left hates the NRA. The left hates that you enjoy shooting guns. They don't want you to shoot guns. They want to take all of that shit away from us. You think they'll stop at AR-15s? You are fucking nuts, dude. Like, really? That's called the tiptoe of totalitarianism. And it's been done. Mao took the guns. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. You know, like, every totalitarian dictator or just totalitarian leadership doesn't even have to be a one-person dictatorship. It could be a oligarchy. But they always go for the guns. You know why? I think you know why. Because a well-armed populace is the best defense against tyranny. You know? And the next best thing is a well-informed populace. And I think that's one of the beauties of Rumble, is that this is a free speech site. That's why I'm here. That's why I try to get away from YouTube as much as possible. And I really think that this is the future of internet streaming and all this kind of shit, because who wants to be censored? I mean, how fun is that? Yeah, YouTube may have the views right now, but as time goes on, that's going to change, you know? And it certainly is. We're starting to see that worm turn, you know, like, especially like with Steven Crowder coming on board. And then, you know, I think they've started to have their first live streams on Rumble that exceeded the views on YouTube. You know, that's fucking nuts, man. That's a great tide of change to witness right there. It's little things like that that give me hope. And honestly, there's not a lot that does give me hope. And that's one of the few things, you know, like I was talking with my artist friend, Daniel Elliott, earlier, and, you know, he's been going through a rough ass time. I'm telling you, if you are a conservative artist and you're like, you know, independent, you're doing like fine art, you're having a hard time. Yeah, unless you've managed to, before this point, have already kind of found your niche, and maybe you do like straight up conservative art where it's like it's all about the politics and it only appeals to conservatives. Okay, I could see somebody like that possibly doing okay and weathering the storm. But if you're someone like me and my friends, we're not that hardcore. I mean, yeah, I'll make a political piece here and there, but that's not going to define me. Like, I don't like politics defining who I am. I always find that kind of sad when people define themselves by their politics. You can have your politics, but you should be something beyond that. And I certainly am. So I'm not going to be limited to that, and I'm not going to be limited to any one genre of art either. But I mean, of course, for the market's sake, I've understood that I have to kind of narrow it down, and I can't be everything. So that's tricky. That's a whole nother discussion in and of itself, a whole nother struggle in and of itself. But what I'm getting at is that if you were depending on leftists to buy your paintings, and now here we are, well, it's getting harder and harder because, well, they don't want to admit it, but they're running out of money too. Yeah. Bidenomics is crushing everyone. It's not just crushing conservatives. In fact, it's probably crushing more liberals. So that's that, man, you know? What are we going to do about it? Like, get a real job, bro. Okay, that's your fucking response, you stupid fucking hick. All right, you know, I have plenty of hick friends. By the way, I'm from Texas. But I really hate when I see these stupid motherfuckers on here and they're trying to be like, get a real job then, bro. It's like, dude, you know what? Not everybody wants to fucking, you know, mow lawns, or what is it you do? Work in the oil rig. Yeah, not everybody wants to work on a fucking oil rig. And not everybody should. I mean, like, yeah, I'd do it if I had to, if it was the last option. But honestly, there's other options that I'd take before that that are less desirable to you, right? Because we all have different preferences. I'm even thinking about joining the fucking military, dude, and I'm 39. I'm thinking about it because I wanted my life to be a journey. And it's going like nowhere right now, in all honesty, about as far as like traveling the world, you know, seeing things, finding purpose, touching people. Like, I guess it is, you know, this is the hardest part about being an artist. We are our own worst critic of always. So I will certainly downplay the contributions I've made to this world, and that's just how I am. You know, I'm a harsh critic. I expect a lot from myself. So some other people looking at me would be like, dude, what are you talking about? You got, you know, like, you got all these collectors, you've got all these accolades, you're in these galleries. Yeah. But, dude, there's so much more to be done. There's so much more that I had planned that I'm not getting to because I'm still not even in the financial situation to go to that next level, you know? And it's just frustrating, man, because it's like, dude, am I not talented enough? I know I am. And this is how I know, because there's artists who actually can't even do what I do. And that's a lot of them, by the way. I actually have a studio in Houston, the fourth largest city in America, and I'm surrounded by artists who always tell me, dude, you're amazing. You know, I could never do this. You have such talent. I can't draw. I can't paint like that. Your patience, your details, whatever, you know, your imagination. I get all that from people who are making like double and triple of what I make. Okay? They make abstracts, abstract expressionist stuff, right? And I'm not knocking it, but it's a little annoying. It kind of, it grates at your ego a bit, and it certainly grates at your understanding of, you know, of just fairness of how the world works. Like, is this really how it is? So if I want to appeal to all these fucking oil-rich companies in Houston who are probably conservative, and if not, they should be, but these idiots know nothing about art, and then they're stupid enough to be ropey-doped in by a bunch of fucking leftists who hate them, who want them dead. Again, I don't got a problem with you if you're leftist. I mean, I kind of do, but I could still chill. You know, we can still chill. But that's fucked, man, because these guys are buying up all these pieces from these guys who hate our country, who hate the system, who hate capitalism, and actually probably hate the people who are buying their art. And yet there's this guy right here who totally agrees with them, doesn't hate them, loves America, loves the capitalist system, understands that this is how, you know, art has always survived other than through patrons. Support me on Patreon. Patreon.com/VincentFink. And, you know, they could be supporting somebody like that, you know, and it's kind of frustrating because I can do abstracts too. I have abstracts. They're lots of fun. Hey, look, here's one right here. This is just a quick one I'll bust out. Like, it's, you know, not necessarily indicative of everything I've ever done abstract-wise, but this just happens to be one that hasn't sold yet, so not necessarily my best one, right? Because the best one's probably already sold. But you see there, and it's got some cool little tetrahedral kind of thing going there, and it's got essence to it. And this has got a little scratch. I got to fix it up, but I just pulled that off the wall, you know. But then there's that. You could buy that, or you could buy this, you know, something else a little more interesting, in my opinion. This is a kind of a polyhedron turned into like a kind of like a medieval Gothic kind of space. It's kind of a polyhedron architectural, cultural kind of thing. I'm putting it on the cam here, so I think this will be a little bit much better view, actually. Yeah, so, you know, it is what it is, right? Just a bit annoying, though. It'd be really cool if some of you free thinkers, some of you conservatives would actually support the arts. That'd be kind of cool, you know? Then maybe we could actually win the culture war. Because if you think about it, one of the main reasons why everybody, or not everybody, but half this country believes the dog shit they believe is because culture. Because we've allowed Hollywood and all the arts and entertainment to get enveloped in communist garbage. So how do we stop that? Well, we stop giving them our money and we start supporting artists who actually believe in the shit we believe in, you know? Like, stop giving your money to people who want you fucking dead. Just stop doing that, please. Like, for your own sake, because guess what? Yeah, it's hurting me now. It's going to hurt you later, right? This is self-destructive. Get over it, man. Figure it out. Fucking Christ's sakes, man. Support a goddamn free-thinking artist. All right? And just, yeah, it's just, I can't stress this enough because it doesn't seem to change. So I'm just going to keep hoping that if I put this on blast long enough, if I keep putting my fucking megaphone out there and shouting to people like, hey, there are good artists you could support and we could actually build our own parallel art economy and kick out fucking all this Disney garbage and all this, especially again in the fine art realm, the fucking just nonsense art, the praising of lack of talent, the praising of splatters and the praising of things that don't take much, right? You know, it's like, I'm okay with you buying this shit. I'm okay if that's what you really love. Okay, great, whatever. But if you are going to go that route, can you at least support an artist who doesn't want you dead? I think that'd be cool. Wow. As it turns out, I can talk while I paint. And it turns out that I have a lot to say. I mean, I could just keep going. I might start another stream here very soon because I'm thinking I'm going to stop this one for a moment just to kind of review it and see how it goes, because it really started off rocky anyway. This was really just going to be a test, but it is a successful test, and now I'm seeing, oh shit, I don't even have the camera angled where I'm working. So you're just watching blankness while I'm whittling away at this very strange image. What does that look like to you, by the way? This is a really cool piece, I think. I mean, maybe. I might hate it. I hated it yesterday. I'm kind of liking it again today. But it's based off of Aztec Mayan, more like Aztec iconography. And there's actually sculptures and drawings that they've done with this whole motif of this, like kind of like a mask cracking open, the human face cracking open. And then underneath is like a new face. So what I decided to do instead of that was to have my stages of metamorphosis, which, if you know my art, this is very prevalent throughout my work. If you don't know my art, we're gonna have to get into that on another video. But basically, this idea of metamorphosis, this is what my art has. One of my series is that's what it was pretty much all about. And it's a cultural art series, and it picks up different cultures and lifts those kind of styles and kind of, I reimagine them. All right, that's probably a better way to put it, because I'm not stealing anything. But what right, he's stealing art from that ancient pottery fucking master from, you know, fucking 3,000 years ago. Yeah, okay, buddy. But I'm not actually, because what I'm doing is I'm editing it and changing it to match my iconography, so it's not even a copy. And this is another reason why my art takes so long, as opposed to a lot of like realism artists, right? So realism's fun. I can do it. Maybe I'll get back into it. But what I like to do is surrealism, whereas like I'm augmenting and changing reality. And, you know, because cameras can produce realistic images of things, so why do I need to be a human camera? There's no need for that anymore. The only need for me as an artist is for me to show you the inner landscapes of the mind. Because by and large, you can go see photographs that will far surpass any artistic rendition. Well, I'm not going to totally say that. There is definitely some really beautiful art of nature, and I love that shit too. All I'm saying is that this is a step up. It takes more time and effort. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. It takes more time and effort to create this kind of art, and I wish people appreciated it. And so it's going to be my job, I guess, to try to get people to understand why this art is so important, why you should support artists who are painting the landscapes of the mind, painting the visions of the mind, and not be so stuck on people who do amazing splatters. And there's a place for that, okay? But just, can people please try to understand why surrealism is kind of the superior form? I'm going to try to help you understand, because it is. In a nutshell, it's because surrealism incorporates the best elements of all art. And actually, you could still have abstract, expressionist looking art and consider it surrealism, because surrealism is more about the expression of the subconscious. And so yes, you can have abstract, expressionist, subconscious kind of visions, but it's also because, again, we're exploring something, we're exploring the human mind, and I think that's really what art serves as a wonderful purpose for nowadays. Now that we don't need portrait artists to capture people's images because we have cameras, there's certainly the wonderful look of a hand-painted portrait, though. Don't get me wrong. And by the way, I do portraits, and I would love to do one for you. And we can go either straight realism, hyper-realism, or we can even go surreal. But yeah, that's all I'm saying, is that if I were just doing a cultural art project where all I was doing was recreating, say for instance the Aztec sculpture, if that's all I was doing, this would have been done already, because all I would have had to do is just reference the photo, copy, and be done. And that's what most artists do. That's not what I'm doing. I'm augmenting it, and I have to even put thought into how I'm augmenting it, because I want my iconography to match my thesis, my metamorphosis. So like these little guys up here, these little wormies, these larvae, this is all part of it. The adult beetle, the cocoon, the pupa stage, and we could probably say that some of these little spheroid kind of shapes are the eggs, right? This is intricately woven into each of my designs, very purposefully and methodically. So there's a lot of thought that goes into that.